I got a new show for y'all.
Got a damn good show.
All right, so in Tennessee, they banned kids from getting transition surgeries.
Yeah, you have to actually have to ban that? I mean, it goes without saying.
No, they banned it in Tennessee. Yeah. Right. So, but now the Supreme Court, this decision is going before the Supreme Court.
It shouldn't even have to get that far. If you're a doctor, you took an oath as a doctor to make sure you protect your patients and you protect people, vulnerable people.
Well, we got Democrats in this country. What you expect was going to happen?
Yeah, if you're a liberal doctor or a progressive doctor, you got to put an asterisk by your name.
Yeah, because you're
suspect.
Like, the one thing I noticed about Democrats, they put their political leanings over their family, over their religion. I mean, like, Democrats, their political affiliations is their religion. It's above everything. They'll disown their family, their brothers, their sisters, their aunts, whoever, their best friends, the church, everything. They put their allegiances mainly towards the Democrat Party.
You can call it a cult. Yeah, you call it Church of Scientology too.
Yeah. Hey, but anyway, so this attorney goes on CNN, a woke attorney, right?
Yeah, which means she's not an attorney.
Yeah, and it's actually a she, but when you see this attorney, it's going to blow your mind.
Looks like a he. But then my eyes do not lie. My eyes is too pretty.
Yeah. He was, well, it was on CNN because I don't know the pronouns.
Obviously, he wants to be a he. I mean, she wants to be a... obviously, she wants to be a he.
Okay, so the attorney made an appearance on CNN arguing its point.
Before the U.S. Supreme Court. Chase Strangio. Chase, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. So the case comes at a time when 26 states have passed laws restricting healthcare treatments for transgender youth, according to a CNN analysis of data from the nonprofit think tank Movement Advancement Project. So how do you plan to argue before the U.S. Supreme Court in a case that could have wide-ranging implications beyond the state of Tennessee?
Well, thank you for having me, Jake. And obviously, this is a critical inflection point for transgender people across the country.
That voice is crazy. Hey, that is crazy. You actually going to be the face of a movement that's going to destroy probably hundreds of thousands of lives. You potentially could be the face of that. I mean, you're actually proof that this reassignment stuff, y'all call it. I mean, you can have the look. But there's certain things you cannot change, like that voice. All right, I'm sorry. We got to start the video over. I'm not going to laugh this time. Let's hear him out, okay?
Well, thank you for having me, Jake. And obviously, this is a critical inflection point for transgender people across the country. We're coming off of an election season where transgender people played an outside role in people's consciousness in terms of the way in which we were situated as a threat to others. And when we look at the map of states that ban this type of evidence-based healthcare, we went from 0 states that had these bans in 2020 to now more than half the country. So before the court tomorrow, the question is really a simple one as I see it. It's really, this is a law that bans medical treatment only when it is prescribed inconsistent with an individual's sex. Our argument is that treats people differently because of their sex, and therefore the court has to treat it like all other forms of sex discrimination, and that's why it's unconstitutional.
So attorneys representing the state of Tennessee told the U.S. Supreme Court, quote, if the government's theory holds, men who identify as women could claim constitutionally based access to women's bathrooms, women's locker rooms, and women's sports. Accepting that theory would perversely erode women's rights and jeopardize landmark statutes protecting women's equal access to schools, winners' podiums, and beyond. What's your response to that?
Well, I obviously disagree with that premise that allowing transgender women into women's sports or women's bathroom is a threat to women, but it is also not the question before the court in this case. And in fact, it is a totally independent question about whether a law that bans medical care for transgender adolescents discriminates against people based on sex versus these separate cases that preceded any of these healthcare bans will continue to be litigated in the courts regardless of the outcome here. So that clearly is conflating a bunch of different questions. The question before the court tomorrow is about whether banning medical care, overriding the consent of parents, the recommendations of doctors is a violation of equal protection.
These people are nuts. So this is what they're doing. I have a daughter. She has a heart problem. She has to get heart service. I have to give consent for them to have surgery on my daughter. They're trying to conflate that life-saving care with chopping your son's tallywhack
Red
off
Simon off.
and giving them drugs to.
Be nice here. He said that people are conflating things. Your whole existence is conflating things. You're one big conflation.
Hey, look, and the sad thing about this is this person doesn't care about kids. This person wants to be the face of this movement because it affirms who she is.
But that's a great point. Because she don't.
Him.
He don't care.
I meant him.
Personally, I don't think he cares about kids, but he knows if this passes and becomes like state law, the Supreme Court justices agree with him, then that affirms who he is. That validates him. That legitimizes him, and everybody like him,
and affirms his delusion. Hey, I knew I wasn't crazy.
Yeah, they don't care about kids. There's no empirical research or evidence that shows this actually helps the people who's suffering from this. I guess they call it body dysmorphia, or
no, it's not body dysmorphia. That's bodybuilding. That's well, I guess you can call it that. I don't know. What is it called? Gender dysphoria.
Yeah, dysphoria.
You said body dysmorphia. That's like if you
got, same thing.
No, that's like you got anorexia. You can't see you're skinny, but you skinny as hell. You look at the mirror, you fat.
There's another way to use it. Anyway, so this is before the Supreme Court.
This is why it's so important when Trump appointed those conservative judges.
Yeah, because
if you put in activists in there, this will have a detrimental impact on thousands of people's lives.
Yeah, and that one black lady that they appointed,
she's not a judge; she's an activist,
right? So, but this is before the Supreme Court, right? This Tennessee law, and listen what Ketanji Brown had to say.
Ketanji, I can't even say her name. Ketanji is too much.
It's Ketanji.
It's Ketanji Brown Jackson. Ketanji.
Miss Jackson. Hope I picked the right pronoun, the perfect.
By the statute. That was sort of like the starting point. The question was whether it was discriminatory because it applied to both races and it wasn't necessarily invidious or whatever. But as I read the statute here, the case here, the court starts off by saying that Virginia is now one of 16 states which prohibit and punish marriages on the basis of racial classifications. And when you look at the structure of that law, it looks in terms of you can't do something that is inconsistent with your own characteristics. It's sort of the same thing. So it's interesting to me that we now have this different argument, and I wonder whether Virginia could have gotten away with what they did here by just making a classification argument the way that Tennessee is in this.
Yeah, she says it's a classification argument. She compares having children getting these reassignment surrogates to marrying outside your race, a black person marrying a white person. You're actually comparing apples to oranges. You know what? You're not even comparing apples to oranges. You're comparing elephants to giraffes is what you're doing.
No, she comparing apples to pig's feet. She's a judge. But y'all remember when she got appointed? I'm going to elect the first black female Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
He was, you know what he's doing? He's manipulating black folks. He didn't pick her because she's black. He's using her skin color for clout. But the reason why he picked her is because she's an activist.
Yeah.
It's the way she thinks.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with her skin color.
Yeah. But picking her is going to keep the black community feel like they are indebted to Democrats, so they continue to vote for them.
Yeah.
But she compared interracial marriage to underage kids getting transition surgeries. Like judges and lawyers, they're supposed to be like very logical people.
Rational.
Impartial.
She's an activist.
This is not a classification argument. She made this a classification argument. This is about, is this actual health care or is it Dr. Frankenstein care? That's why this is because this is why Tennessee banned it, because they think this is gross and negligent behavior by doctors.
Yeah. And you know what the sad thing about this? Him using that woman for clout for skin color to keep black people thinking a certain way. These people, these judges that Joe Biden has appointed, I think he appointed, watch his video. And I'll explain
he appointed a lot of black judges.
Yeah, look at this video.
President Biden has appointed more black judges than any other president. In a single term, he's appointed 61 new black judges, and 39 of those are women. And that includes the first black woman to be appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. And over half the judges have significant experience in protecting human and civil rights. And to give you more good news, this is only talking about people that are serving lifetime confirmations. This is only the tip of the iceberg. That means that there's significant more diversity across the justice system in the United States now.
61 black judges, 39 of them women. Now, let me say this. Who's the most obedient group of people to Democrats? Black women. You know, if you got a black female Democrat, that is the most obedient person. They vote at what, a 94% clip in this past election for one party?
They have a strong allegiance. But the thing I want to point out, these people are not judges. They're
judges.
They judges. They passed the bar. But the only reason they got this position is not because they're black, it's because they have to think. They're not going to behave like a judge. They're going to behave like an activist. They're going to have the same reasoning and logic skills as Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah.
And those judges are going to hurt a lot of communities because they're going to be woke. They're not going to be tough on crime.
Yeah.
They're going to have this woke perspective when it comes to equity, inclusion, and equality when it comes to black folks in society.
Yeah.
Their look on things, their perspective on things is very twisted. Y'all heard it yourself when Ketanji Brown Jackson said that comparing interracial marriages to a child prepubescent kid getting
reassignment
surgeries and affirming care.
Yeah, and that's I'm not even a lawyer, and I know that's pure dumb logic.
Yeah.
I'm not even a lawyer. Didn't take the LSAT, didn't go to law school. I already know that it is just dumb logic. It's not logical. But you know what? The other female in the Supreme Court, Sotomayor.
Yeah.
She said something just as dumb as she did.
What'd she say?
I'm going to show you the video. She crazy.
The risk of detransitioners. So it becomes a pure exercise of weighing benefits versus risk. And the question of how many minors have to have their bodies irreparably harmed for unproven benefits is one that is best left.
I'm sorry, Counselor. Every medical treatment has a risk. Even taking aspirin. There is always going to be a percentage of the population under any medical treatment that's going to suffer a harm.
Shut up. Turn off.
So, hey, did y'all hear that? You got a Supreme Court judge using a hasty generalization. That's flawed logic in her decision.
Right. So the
decisions.
Yeah. So the attorney, he's against the reassignment for kids, saying there's no proven benefits and it's dangerous. Which is logical. There's no proven empirical research that shows this actually help these kids, right?
Yeah, it's anecdotal at best.
Right. So he's making that logical argument, and then she comes up and compares these surgeries to the risk of taking aspirin. That's wild. This is a Supreme Court justice.
Well, she sounds like a DEI hire. See, this is why I found the fault is to let these people vote.
The women?
Something wrong with them.
No, it's just that it's not because something wrong with them.
If you're a liberal
they're
woman,
emotional thinkers.
Yeah, which means you're flawed.
I mean, we're all flawed. We're all flawed.
Not that flawed. Who's going up before the Supreme Court trying to get kids to have their tallywhackers chopped off and women to have their... It's just crazy. Having an amputee... I can't even wrap my head around it. It's like it defies just a...
if you're an adult, you're 18 and older. Okay, if you want to do that to yourself,
Yeah, I don't really understand the rush. They can always make this decision when they're 18.
yeah,
It doesn't. I don't approve of people doing this, but hey, it's your life. Do it as you will. I believe in the pursuit of happiness,
but you can't.
You should wait till you're 18.
Yeah, you couldn't. This is cosmetic.
Yeah,
There's no proof that this is saving lives.
yeah. That's just.
That's just a flat out lie.
Yeah. I'm telling you, these people are taking this to the Supreme Court because it affirms who they are. It legitimizes their livelihood.
Yeah,
It makes them.
Yeah.
It legitimizes them.
Yeah. Hey, we was on that show. What was her name? She's very popular. For some reason, her name skips me.
Oh, on a podcast?
Yeah. Well, what's her name?
Black White.
No, the beautiful white woman. Used to be on Fox News. Megyn Kelly.
Megyn Kelly.
Remember when she first became a Supreme Court judge? I think it was on her show, and she was saying that she's brilliant.
Yeah.
She went to law school. I think she went to Harvard or whatever. And I was like, that woman's not brilliant. I seen the hearings. She doesn't know what a woman is.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I remember that when we was talking to her. Yeah.
She could have been brilliant, but she let her biases in politics clout her probably brilliant mind.
I don't care how intelligent, how high you scoring on the IQ test.
Yeah.
If you have a biases, you're gonna be stupid just like everybody else.
Yeah.
If you let it affect your judgment.
Mm-hmm. It's a crazy world we living in.
That can't pass. They don't got the numbers.
Well, I mean, what is it? It's like 6 to. Well, I forget.
It's more conservative judges.
It's more conservative judges. I'd be shocked if Clarence Thomas come on. Yep, this is good. All the Supreme Court, all the conservatives, this is not even a liberal perspective on things. This is a progressive perspective. Like those two women, Sotomayor and Gatanji, those are progressives. They're not even liberal. They're progressive.
You can't even call them progressive. They're just far leftist.
Yeah, it's progressive.
Yeah.
They're progressive. That's what you call a progressive.
Progressive idiots.
Show's over. Show's over.